everybody, it's Dr. Craig Malkin again. I'm a clinical psychologist and lecturer for Harvard Medical School. I am also the author of Rethinking Narcissism, which is devoted to helping you understand and cope with narcissism in all its forms and all your relationships. Today I want to talk about whether or not echoism is passive. If you've heard me talk about echoism before, then you'll know what I'm about to describe. And if not, maybe you'll learn something new. If you like my videos, please remember to turn the notification bell on when you subscribe so you can see them when they come in. First, a little quick review of echoism. A lot of people have a misunderstanding of what echoism is as a trait or survival strategy, and they think that it is more about taking a passive role in relationships, and that is not the core organizing feature of echoism. And I think the reason that comes about is if you go back to what echoism is, remember Echo was the nymph who was cursed to repeat back the last few words she heard. She fell in love with Narcissus, who was the vain Greek youth who fell in love with his own reflection. And like their namesake, Echoists often echo the needs and feelings of others in order to connect and have relationships. It's a survival strategy they developed in order to be close and have any sense of self, where the other person can experience them as someone who doesn't really ask for much or need much. And that certainly can take this form of just waiting for things to happen, not putting one's own needs forward, not being proactive. That kind of passivity, but that's only one solution. Remember, the core organizing principle of echoism is a fear of becoming a burden, standing out, or seeming narcissistic in any way. People who struggle with echoism are often uncomfortable with their own needs, and that's why they tamp them down. So if your concern is that your needs will disrupt a relationship, sure, one solution is to take up as little room as possible and assume a little bit more of a passive role in a relationship and wait for things to happen or the other person to initiate and respond. But another is to be very proactive and take steps to be independent and not need that much from others. So a classic example of this is the echoist who's the neighborhood helper. Everybody turns to when they're struggling or they need advice or they need comfort. But this is the same person, man or woman, who, if they are struggling or they seem to need some help, like moving in their house or taking care of things in the yard, and this is somebody who's elderly, they'll often respond very actively by pushing those offers away, saying, no, I'm fine. I'll get it taken care of. Don't fuss over me. I don't want you to treat me like a child. I can figure this out. So in other words, they distance from the experience of being offered help, of somebody turning to them and saying, I want to help you. I'm actually concerned about what you might need here and I want to do something to help you. That's very active. And the other way, echoists are often proactive in these relationships and in these experiences to make sure they don't feel like too much of a burden or that they're expressing their needs too much, is they actively seek out relationships with people who probably aren't very good at meeting their needs. They might be people that struggle themselves. They might be people who can even be a little bit selfish. This is where the pattern of echoists falling into relationship with narcissistic friends and partners comes in. But this form of echoism is not at all one where people just sit around and wait for things to happen. And they can be quite active and often angry if you work too hard to try to attend to them or show them special attention, throw them a birthday. They might get upset about this. As you can see, this is not passive at all. So I hope that helps to clarify the distinction between these different forms of echoism, and that it is not inherently a passive trait or a passive stance at all. If you like this video, again, remember to give it a thumbs up and leave comments so I can answer questions like the one that came to me about this video that I just shared an answer to, and I look forward to sharing more. Thanks.